Who's scruffy looking?
What is up, my fellow nerds and gangsters? Welcome back to the Spiffy Nerd Herder channel. I am Danny.
Now just a quick reminder, guys, do not forget about this awesome contest for this sweet Mandalorian armor made by Let's Talk Star Wars. Guys, I cannot express how cool this thing will look on your wall. If you want to have this, simply leave your favorite movie quote down below. Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of 3 of how to get your audience to care for those lovely characters you have written in your script.
I don't care.
In part 1, we talked about feeling sorry for your characters. In part 2, we're going to talk about how audiences care about characters with humanistic virtues. Now, if you don't know what humanistic means, neither do I, so let's figure it out together.
I want to know.
And just a reminder, all of these points come from Carl Iglesias' book, Writing for Emotional Impact. Now let's giddy up with today's video.
Giddy up.
Number 1 is we like characters who help others, especially the less fortunate. Lending a hand to someone else is such a universally recognized action. Think George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life and all the tons of selfless acts he performs. He rescues his younger brother from drowning, loses the hearing in his left ear in the process. He endures a beating rather than allow a grieving druggist to deliver poison by mistake to an ailing child. He forgoes college and a long-planned trip to Europe to keep the Bailey building alone from letting his customers down. Is it any wonder why we like him so much? So helping others comes naturally when you give a character a service profession, like a doctor, a psychologist, teacher, you name it. So any character who cares about someone or something other than themselves will generate appeal. Point 2, relating to children or children liking him. Because children represent innocence, unless of course your name is Local Luke, any character who likes children, relates to them, can play with them, or is liked by them, will become appealing to the audience. Think of Mary Poppins, Maria in The Sound of Music, Dr. Malcolm Crowe in The Sixth Sense, and even Anakin Skywalker in Episode 3. All until this moment, of course. That last one's a joke, just so we're clear.
Well, forgive me for not leaping for joy.
Point number 3 is what us pompous writers like to call patting the dog, or liking animals, or animals liking him. It's really similar to like children liking your character, but in this point, it's the dog. It's where your character is nurturing toward an animal, such as patting them on the head, petting them, or feeding them. It shows that natural, nurturing side to your character of selflessness and all that nonsense. You know what I'm talking about. Even Hellboy, when he saves the box of cats. So this point also melds with the whole idea and philosophy of Save the Cats by Blake Snyder. When the animal warms up to a character, no matter how repellent he is, we like him too because we trust that the animal can sense in him his true nature underneath the social mask that a character might be putting on. The perfect example of this is Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets, where the dog warms up to Melvin even after he threw him out the garbage chute. Number 4 is having a change of heart or forgiving. Audiences like when a character forgives others or has a change of heart, such as accepting someone who was disliked earlier or agreeing with him when he didn't before. One of my favorite examples is because this is Michael Bay at his top of his game is Armageddon, when Bruce Willis's character tries to kill Ben Affleck's character for dating his daughter, but later in the film, Bruce Willis straight up sacrifices his life on the asteroid and gives his future son-in-law his blessing for the relationship.
Go take care of my little girl now.
Point number 5, risking life or dying for the sake of others. Willing to sacrifice yourself for the sake of others, especially a loved one, generates a fair amount of empathy. In Beauty and the Beast, Belle offers her life to save her father's. And in Hunger Games, Katniss risks her life to save her little sister from going to the games herself.
I volunteer! I volunteer!
Numero 6, fighting or dying for a just cause. This is any character who cares about something important outside of himself. Fighting for a just cause is often a courageous and selfless act. Think again of Bruce Willis' sacrifice for humanity in Armageddon. Wallace fighting and dying for freedom in Braveheart because they cannot take their freedom. Or even Harry Potter when he sacrifices himself to defeat Voldemort, not knowing that he's going to be able to come back from the dead.
Come to die.
And of course, the story of Jesus Christ falls into this category and point number 5. Being ethical, moral, dependable, loyal, and responsible. These are somewhat the most appealing human virtues, so any character who applies these qualities, especially when there's no self-interest involved, will be viewed in a relatively positive light.
For Frodo.
For example, in Mrs. Doubtfire, Daniel quits his job after taking a moral stand against his company, who refuses to run an anti-smoking public service announcement. And George Bailey, again, is totally in this camp, as is Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, and Forrest Gump.
It's a household name.
Numero 8, loving other people, like family, friends, and neighbors. Any character who loves something or someone deeply will be appealing, especially if it's his family and friends. In fact, this is one of the ways writers can create empathy with a criminal or anti-hero who operate outside the law, such as mobsters like Vito Corleone and Tony Soprano. After all, they couldn't be that bad if they have a loving family and friends. And on a side note, if you're doing a bad guy as your main character and you need him to be fighting against other bad guys, make the other bad guys a lot worse. Just a little tip. Number 9 is being important to others. Clearly a character will be appealing if others in the story like him too.
I like him.
If he's surrounded by people at work or at home who really genuinely like the guy or respect his skills, if he's someone who's an expert at something or holds a position of importance, this will make him likable. Think again of Atticus Finch, George Bailey, and Forrest Gump. You'll understand their deep appeal. There's a reason that these 3 movies are so good.
Why don't you kiss her instead of clawing her to death?
Number 10, showing humanity in private moments. When a character lets down his defenses and shows his humanity when he thinks no one is looking, we sympathize. Combine this with undeserved mistreatment as a result of being vulnerable, like ridicule and humiliation, and you generate more sympathy for the hero and stronger dislike for the abuser who invades the privacy. So if you take a look at this point, plus the points of part 1 of this video series of feeling sorry for a character, we can really see is that as you combine all of these things together, you can really create depth to your character and help the audience like him right off the bat, or take the audience on a journey to end up liking your character. And now finally, bringing up the rear, number 11 is acting in any nurturing way. So this is kind of the catch-all, but it's any act of kindness, caring, and generosity, tucking somebody in a blanket, healing the wounded, especially if it's a child like Jin does here in Rogue One. That's kind of like the saving the cat moment again. Or giving $1 to a homeless person. It creates an instant connection with the character, and it shows that they think about others over themselves and at least some point of their life. So guys, again, these are ways to give your characters humanistic virtues so that your audience will care about them more. Stay tuned for part 3 of 3 in how to get your audience to like your characters, when we talk about characters that have desirable qualities. Now this is a good one, so don't miss that. And don't forget about the contest, guys. You will not regret it. I'll be choosing a winner in just a couple videos, so it's gonna happen soon.
I love you, and please remember to stay spiffy and don't do anything I wouldn't do twice.